Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm Zoe from the Contra team. This is obviously Barbiana. Many of you already know her. And today she's going to be sharing how to build a portfolio for designers. And she is definitely a pro at that. So excited to have her here today and excited that you've all joined from literally everywhere around the world, which is so cool to see. Today's agenda, we will obviously be meeting Barbiana, tips to build a portfolio as a designer, some portfolio feedback. So if at any point you want to share your portfolio in the chat, go for it. You've already seen there's been messages coming through. So right there, just drop in any messages that you might have. We encourage you to share. And if you have any questions during the event as well, there's an icon under the chat on the right-hand side where you can ask questions. I'll put something in there right now, a few question marks, and feel free to put those in and we will answer those at the end of the event. And then Barbiana has an exclusive deal for everyone here to join Contra Pro later on. So let's kick it off. We would love to start by hearing a little bit more about you, Barbiana.
Hi everyone, I'm Barbiana. I'm a brand and visual designer based in New York City, and I started freelancing about 3 years ago and started my own design studio offering visual solutions from branding, websites to social media content creation. If you don't know me, I'm actually a self-taught designer, which means I did not go to any design schools, simply watching tons of videos online to learn design basics, and I love creating personal projects to experiment on things around me. So yeah, that's a little thing about me.
That is so awesome. I love that you are self-taught, and I would love to hear if anyone else in the chat is as well. But I feel like that is truly the future, that people are going to learn things just by using the internet, which is the bank of all knowledge. So excited to hear that you have that experience, and hopefully some people in the chat can relate.
Yeah, totally.
All right. If you want to, Barbiana, I'm not sure if you see this slide, but the
Mhm.
hot take that you'd like to share today.
So today it's about portfolio. So designers use their portfolio for more than just showcasing their work. They can get discovered, hired, and even paid through their portfolio. So let's take it to the next slide. Let's see if you have a portfolio. If you have it, drop it in the chat. You can share the links, or you can share your socials, where you even share your portfolio. Oh, okay. A lot of people have portfolio. That's great. Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's talk about the basic first. So next slide. And all right, so tips for beginners. First thing first, you want to do it now. Don't wait until you have an actual client. This is definitely the questions I get a lot. Like, when should I start building my portfolio? Or I don't have a client. How can I start building a portfolio? So your portfolio will grow over time. You need one right now to kickstart your design journey. So don't be afraid to just create one. And your portfolio is not going to be perfect. You're going to grow as you go and try to explain all the process results in each project. That's how people can notice you, notice your skills. So tips. I use Contra to jumpstart, so that's definitely something I want to share more in the next slide, how I use my Contra. So first thing first, it is super easy to use, and I can customize the theme for my personal branding. And another thing is that getting paid is very important as a freelancer, and I'm a lazy designer. I don't know if you guys are a lazy designer like me. I love to manage everything in one place. So when I know that I can get paid through Contra, and then it's also commission free, then this is definitely a huge plus for me. Now I can send proposal directly to my clients with Contra and set up payments just like that. All right. So let me know if you guys already have a Contra profile. You can share your link in the comment. Okay. There's a lot. Awesome, awesome. So how do you actually attract clients with your portfolio? So tips for getting eyes on your portfolio is you want to tailor your showcase your work tailored to the industry, brands, and products you want to work with. Show the relevant experience and skills. So, for example, I'm a web designer. I don't want to have any copywriting projects on my portfolio just to make them more confused, like not sure if I'm actually a copywriter or a web designer. So, be sure to tailor to your relevant skills. And think about how you want to present the project, make it easier to understand and important information results they need to see on your project. So a little tips, you can look at successful design freelancers online and then make sure to follow them. Take a look at discovery page actually for Contra. You can connect with other freelancers on there and then see what type of work they showcase. And another good tip is to make it eye-catching. So if you can take a look at my Contra profile and the first project, that one got tons of eyes. Like people love to click on that one because of the cover I shared. Simply, I make it just like easy for them to know like, okay, this is a landing page project and it looks fun. So people just want to click on it and then learn more about this project.
I love that. And I feel like that's someone's first impression, right? Barbiana is those cover
Yes.
images. And so you really want to make that something where, people are visual nowadays. They see something
Hmm.
and they want to click on it. And I think
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
you did a really great job of making your cover images super eye-catching. How did you actually create those?
Yeah, so I actually create them on Adobe Illustrator. And also, if you see like a mock-up, it's on Adobe Photoshop. So I tend to make it like easier to know that, oh, what is this project about? Yeah.
I love that. And I know you also mentioned, looking at successful designers. Do you have any, like maybe top two people that you love to follow that really inspire you?
Yes, definitely. So there's one designer friend I love a lot. Like she's Hannah. Her name is Hannah, and she's a brand designer. So we actually collab on a project together. I didn't have it on my Contra as well. Yeah, like she's just amazing. I love her a lot. Yeah. Hmm.
That's so awesome. I think I know which Hannah you're talking about. She has some great projects. Awesome. Well, let's go to the next slide.
So, what should you add to your design portfolio? This is definitely something we need to make sure that we have on our portfolio. So, first thing first, share the project that resonate most with your dream clients, so, which means that you want to tailors to like the brands that you want to work with in the future. So, also share 3 to 5 projects. That's definitely something I would say quality over quantity because you want to share the project that you are most proud of, and knowing that having too many projects will kind of overwhelm like the future clients. The chances that they won't even browse through all the projects that you have. So make sure again quality over quantity. Next tip will be sharing your process with words. So show how you do the work, the process of each project, your mindset, and your method to solve the problem. I'm sorry for the noise. I'm living in New York City. This is normal. All right. So, lastly, having high quality visuals is so important. This is the final step of determining if they want to work with you. So, if you design a website, put it on a mock-up or show the logo you design on a t-shirt. This way, you are telling the story with your visual. Mm-hmm.
I love that. Your images in this example are so nice and again, like very eye-catching. So that is so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and there
Um,
are like free websites for like mockups that you can find, like Free Pig. Yeah. So I definitely like will recommend to check out those websites to find those quality mockups images you can use in your projects.
that is a great tip. I love that.
Now, how do you promote yourself on social? So this is basically asking me how I started. You need to start sharing on social media, share your work, who you are, what you're offering, and be the face of your brand. This is what I learned when I first building my design account on social media. People recognize this face and they feel the personal connection seeing me sharing my design process, my work. I'm sure this is how you guys showed up here as well. So I would say start with creating a brand account on Instagram or TikTok. A brand doesn't mean that it has to be robotic. You can create it with your personal branding. Be more you and share the content that sets you as a design expert. It could be photos of your recent projects or tips that you think will be helpful to your community. And lastly, make sure to have your portfolio link in your bio. This is how you are going to convert those views into something. Take them to the place that you want them to be, and then browse your professional portfolio and potentially book you.
Yes, I love that so much. I feel like anytime you're sharing, you should be finding ways of directing a potential client or someone that wants to work with you to the place where they can actually hire you.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it feels tough to just have like conversations across multiple platforms like Instagram, Twitter. So, yeah, that's such a great tip. And it looks like this is a good example where you have a link in bio here. And rumor has it that Instagram is letting people have 5 links very soon in their bio, which is wild to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like make sure that you have that clear call to action for people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then Gina from the audience asked, how can I use my personal brand to get the kind of creative projects that I want?
Yeah, I would say like a lot of you can see more and more brands, even agencies, they're looking for freelancers that have their personal traits, just because they have like different type of like work. And they don't want to always use the same like designers over like the projects. So I would say show yourself, show your your design aesthetics, and that's like how they will notice you as the freelance designer. Mm-hmm.
That's a great tip. That is so. And do you typically suggest that people make brand specific social media accounts, or could they also use their personal account to start sharing their work?
That's a good question. I did ask like should I have like a personal account or should I have a business account? It actually depends on you as a designer. Personally, I still have my personal account just because I have family back in Asia and I keep it for my family. So you can still transfer your like personal accounts into your brand account. That's totally fine. There's no limit to that as long as you are focusing on what you are building. I think, yeah, these two options are both like good. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love that. Lots of ways to do it, right? And you kind of have to just like follow
Yeah.
whatever feels right for you and go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How do I start in building projects as a designer, as a beginners? All right. So if you don't have any clients at the moment, that's totally fine. That's how I started. So what I would do is I will create a passion project, or even I call it a like a like it's just a concept like you want worked on. So you can always find like those design briefs online, like fake clients. It's actually a website for you to look for design briefs, and you can also join like challenges hosted by other creatives online. That's a good start. So yeah, don't worry about like, oh, I don't have actual clients, so how can I even create a project? You can start creating now, like anything that you find like around you wanted to maybe redesign the logo of a drink that you had today. That's also a concept. But make sure you are showing your creative work, the process, and the solution. Mhm. And most importantly, getting the feedback. So as a designer, it is very important to get feedback. A lot of people might find it like a little bit like awkward when they receive negative feedback, but that's how you are going to learn and then grow as a designer. So share it on your social media, share it on like your portfolio, and then maybe ask around, ask the community to get some feedback. And yeah, that's how you can really grow as a designer.
That is awesome. I love just like taking inspiration from anywhere. And we actually have a question here from
Yeah.
Violetta. Would you recommend approaching small local businesses to build a portfolio from scratch?
Yeah, that's good question, and I would definitely recommend to start with like a small business, like in like local businesses. That's a good start. Or even ask your friends or family if they have something in mind you can help with. Um, yeah, so getting like contact with like local businesses, kind of email them, like do the cold like email pitch. That's also something I would do. Yeah. Hmm.
Very cool. And also, someone asked about creating. Should they create a portfolio in a PDF or a Google Docs to start? They haven't kicked off their portfolio yet. So, any tips on how to start a portfolio in a super easy way?
Yeah, that's why I love using Contra because they have like great templates for you to already kickstart building a project. So you can actually get on like your Contra and then create a project. There's like prompt for you to guide you to create a project portfolio that actually will be very effective and very professional. Hmm.
Awesome. Love that. Definitely important to look very professional to start, even if you're just getting started. I feel
Yeah,
like right
sure.
away people look at you in a different light. You're able to charge
Hmm.
more. So that's a great tip.
What tools should I use as a designer? So, better tools means efficiency for sure. And personally, I learned Adobe first, and then now I'm starting to learn more Figma. But if you are a beginners, you can also learn Canva as well. So these are the great like design tools I would recommend. And I use Notion a lot for like planning content or just to organize any design ideas that I have. And also Contra is where I start building my portfolio. So definitely I would say Contra is one of my favorite freelance tool. Yeah. And always remember to list out the tools that you use in your projects and services because that's how people will know that, oh, some sort of like some kind of company, they might want the specific tools, like the specific skills. So that's how you can showcase, like, hey, I'm the expert in that, like with the tool, and stay on top of the design trends. So it doesn't mean that you have to follow the design, like blindly follow the trends, but it's good to know or observe what's going on in your industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that is such a great tip. And how do you typically stay on top of design trends? Are you seeing that in social media? Are you reading articles? How do you see that?
I love browsing a lot of design trends on social media for sure, and then connecting with other designers in my industry. That's very important for me. I just love to have like inspirations around me daily, so I can like not only like for me personally, not only just like kind of like inspire me in a way, but also to learn. Because again, I'm a self-taught designer, so it's very important for me to like keep this mindset of like learning while growing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
And how do you kind of know when you should be learning a new skill in design? Like, obviously, you're really an expert at Adobe, but you said you're starting to learn Figma. Like, what was that moment where you were like, I need to start learning Figma?
Hmm.
And how do you stay motivated to learn a new skill?
Yeah, that's definitely something I would love to share. Yeah, I start with Adobe because when I first started, I did not know what design tools should I use. Again, I didn't have any backgrounds in like design or art, so it was very difficult. But after researching, and I was in school at the time, and that's the free tools that they provide me. So that's how I started. And after I become freelance designer, I have like a few clients. Working with few brands and then realizing that, ooh, like this is not the only design tool. So I began to, again, like look for any design trends and then seeing that, ooh, a lot of UX UI designer, even like web designer, they're using Figma. That's how I started to be like, okay, I need to start learning this. And honestly, I like to find any free resources that I can. Um, this is just a good way to start and then know that, okay, if should I even invest in this like yet, right? Like because before you know that this is for me, I wanted to try it out. So I get on their like community. Like Figma has a great resources, like their own resources online. So connect with like people within the community. That's like really helpful. Hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like communities are the way to go and such a good way to like knowledge share and pick people's brains. So I
Yeah.
love that you're a fan of joining communities. I know that you've
Mhm.
mentioned Contra as a tool that you're using, and you're using some of the free aspect of Contra, but also Contra Pro. So I know that you have a deal for everyone to actually skip the wait list today and be able
Yeah.
to subscribe to Contra Pro for the first month. And this is like Barbiana's exclusive deal for everyone on this call. So I'm going to share the link because it sounds like you're using it in a lot of interesting ways and getting really creative. So hopefully other
Mhm.
people are also excited to use it that way.
Yeah, totally. Portfolio
Awesome.
feedback time.
Yes, love this part. So if anyone has a portfolio that they've dropped in the chat, we will potentially pull some of those up. In the meantime, we're going to open one while we review some of the others. But again, if you want your portfolio reviewed, feel free to drop it in the chat here. So I will open up this one for you. I just need to go full screen right now. And yeah, Barbiana, if you just want to share kind of any feedback that you might have that could be constructive here for Nicole. Oh, looks like we may have lost Barbiana for a second. Let's see. Well, in the meantime, if anyone wants to drop their portfolio link again so that I can pull it up, we would love to be able to take a look at some other people's portfolios today. There we go. You're back.
Yes, I'm back. So this one is from Nicole. I love that it's so clear to already like notice like she's a product designer, UX designer, and also listed out user research is one of her skill. This is very important when we first like jump on someone else's portfolio, and this is something that they also are looking for. So yeah. And let's see. And instantly seeing her work. The title is actually important, I feel like, for a project. Like you want to make sure that you explain like the most important part of what you do, what you did in this project, and also listing out the tools she was using. So that's great. She was using Figma and Loom. And her skills is like user research, UX. She's a UX designer and also a visual designer for this project. So you can see like she definitely breakdowns into like what happened to like the problems and the statistics. That's great. The deliverables she worked on, and also the external link to check out like her work, even the case study. Yeah, I would
I
say this
also
is a
love
very solid project.
Yeah, and I also love that she's a
Mm-hmm.
quote here from the client. I feel like that's really like
Yes.
social validation for a client to have
Mm-hmm.
given, a nice quote about the project.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Let's maybe take a look at a service that she provides. I feel like that's really important. I'd love to hear what you think.
Ooh, okay. I love that she listed out and then having like a starting the hourly rate. That's very like clear and also transparent to the clients. So you're kind of like like decrease any back and forth emails like, oh, okay, I love this, but like how much would you charge? What is your pricing? And then you keep like going back and forth on the same thing. So this eliminate the unnecessary like emails. That's great. And deliverables is very important. You want to list out like what you can provide like at the end of the project, and also clear description of how to work with the person. And also definitely this is so important, you want to link your project's example. This is how like I started doing that, and actually it helps me a lot like getting more clients because they know which like projects was like related to the service. So this is something that I would recommend to do.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like for a client, then they understand how you could do the project for them when it's
Mm-hmm.
something similar, right? Like if I see you've done this
Yes.
really cool branding for like a package design and you have a
Mm-hmm.
project like that, I'm like, it just clicks for me that you'd be a great person to do that for me.
Yeah, and they always ask me for like, do you have an example projects or anything that I can see? So this is perfect.
Awesome. And I think what's also really important is that CTA, right? Like really nice here is that a client landing
Yes.
on this knows how to reach out, and then
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to see, the ability to reach out to them over an inquiry form. So I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have some people that have shared a couple in the chat. So I'm actually going to pull a couple of those up that I thought looked really interesting. Let me just set this up on my screen. Okay. Barbiana, if you want to let me know what you think, if you're able to see the screen.
Yes, I'm able to see it. This is from Madison. Love that. I love like having your face like for the first section. It's just easier as a like freelance designer because we're independent designers. So it's important to let the clients know like who we are. So that's a good one. Ooh, okay, the quick backgrounds. I love that. It's very clear like her roles, like what she who she is as a like designer and yeah, the basic information. I love this one. It's very cute. Like you actually list out the fun of yourself. Yeah. That's how you create the connections between you and your client. So good on
Good
that.
conversation starters.
Yes. And definitely very important to share your work. Yeah, like I love like having the clear like what tools that you use for the projects. Okay, it's very clear. Minimal. Love that. Ooh, okay. So I would say like this is also very nice that she lists out like the insights of the projects and everything. Like you can tell that she put a lot of efforts into like showing the process of this project and the method to solve the problem. Yeah. Ooh, and
Lots of good
all
stuff.
the examples that she had, like all the images, that's great.
Awesome. Yeah, it's super great. There's a lot going on. And I think what's really cool here too is that she has that contact to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as easy because you have to go to an email, but I think that it's still good to have a place where a client can reach out to you.
Yeah, I would say like linking email, it's also great. And then if you can like a sort of form to just kind of like differentiate like the different like categories. Let's say that I'm a multidisciplinary like designer. So maybe someone is looking for web design, someone's looking for logo design. So creating a form to kind of having the option for them to like, oh, I'm looking for like web design, I'm looking for logo design. That will also helps as well. So you're not just getting like a general email and you still have to email back like, oh, so what are you looking for? So yeah.
Awesome. Let's check out this one, which is actually on Behance, but I think there's definitely maybe some tips in terms of being able to, reach out to someone a little more easily, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
some things that you use Contra for that maybe you can share because this person has let us know that they are thinking of switching to Contra.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can we check out like one of the projects? Ooh, okay, love that one. This is definitely, you can tell that this is for like a logo design. So like she has like the first banner is the logo. Alright. Okay, like how like the naming, like everything, that's great. So again, the process of how you come up with the whole design ideas, very important. And the visuals, the mood board. Okay, yeah. I would say like add a few visuals, like a few mock-ups to just to showcase like the whole like brand vibe instead of just the logo with the backgrounds. That will really help like to visualize how this brand looks like. This one is beautiful. I love the color. It's very bold.
Mm-hmm.
Who we are, yeah. And a concept, love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are great. It's definitely fun to see
Yeah,
how
very
people think
clear.
through solving
Mm-hmm.
problems.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these
Mm-hmm.
mood boards are great.
Yeah, the mood boards. I love mood boards, so this is really great. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Anything
again,
that you would
like I
change on
think
this
adding a
one?
few visuals mockups might be like really helpful for the project. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other feedback just on the format of things?
I would say like the few covers definitely very like attractive. Like the two like we just browse, that's the two that we were like, okay, instantly click on. But some of them are not really clear. Like I think that's the taco, like taco image. I'm not too sure like what is it about this project. So that would be something might like want to improve on. Yeah, with the covers.
Awesome. That's great feedback. I'm going to pull up one other one that was shared in the chat. Just give me 1 second. All righty, and let's go to the top. Okay.
All right. UX designer product. Oh, I love that little animation going on. That's very cute. All right. Love that. The cover shows like clearly what I'm doing. That's great. See, that one is a good one, a good cover. Like I want to click on. Yeah, like this is another way, like if you want to just link external like projects or something, you can always do that with yeah, in your project.
Do you think it'd be helpful, like, as someone maybe seeing this for the first time, even just to have a small blurb that says,
Yeah.
like, here's what the project's about, or here's what my contributions were?
Yeah, like giving a few like just a basic introduction of the project would be really helpful instead of just like give you a link. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love that. Let's check out this maybe web design. I feel like that's very aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like a clear call to action to get in touch with her. That's great. Having a description. I would say maybe share a little bit of your deliverables, like how to work with you, and then what would you offer like within this package. Yeah, because you only have like a basic information, that's great, but maybe share a little bit more so they don't have to like contact you again asking for the same questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like people love bullet points these days or anything numbers, super, super simple so that they can see it and be like, does this check all the boxes that I have in mind? And I feel like adding the deliverables in that format would be super nice here because the description is a perfect length, but just having a really clear understanding of what will get done could really add
Mm-hmm.
some value.
Yes, totally.
Awesome. And I love that there's more services down here. That looks really great.
Yeah.
Cool. We have so many other people sharing, wanting
A lot.
portfolio feedback. But what I will say is that one of the benefits, if you do want to subscribe to Contra Pro, if you do it on this call, Barbiana will send you one-to-one portfolio feedback. So she'll do even a more in-depth version of what we're doing on this call. So if you do end up subscribing, I'll share that link again just so that people have it. Um, but if you do subscribe, up to 5 people will have access to that one-to-one feedback from Barbiana, which I feel like is super valuable, as we just saw. And it's so great to have, expert advice. We're going to skip this one because I feel like we had so many great ones that we already went through, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a ton of great questions. So let's get started on those. And then if we have more time at the end to do a couple more portfolio reviews, we will, because I feel like people are sharing like crazy in the chat right now. So I'm going to pop up a couple questions here. This one is from Roma Dani, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but they are asking, how do you think of designers not showing their prices on their services?
Ooh, okay, that's a really good question. I would say being transparent, it's a nice way like to show like your pricing of the your packages, even just a starting price for your services. Again, like I talked about this, just to eliminate like those unnecessary emails going back and forth on the same questions, and also giving a certain like budget. The mindset of like a certain budget will be helpful when the client like deciding if they want to work with you, because a lot of time they have like something in mind, and if we're going through all the consultation and we're gonna stop at the end of like, oh, this is my pricing, that's like a like, ugh, I could have got the project but because of the pricing. So I would say be clear with your pricing, it's always good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it gets you a few steps ahead when you start talking with the client, you're already on the same page. And
Yeah.
what are some of your tips around deciding on pricing? Because I feel like that's probably a follow-up to the question about showing your pricing.
hmm I love to start with like how knowing how many hours I'm gonna put into the work and knowing the base pricing for like me to work on the certain projects. Let's say I have this like branding projects and I know that this is my baseline. Like, hey, I cannot go lower than this. So that's going to be the starting price I want to put on my website. And then also considering like getting on a call, asking for more like details of like the deliverables. Let's say I have this package and these are my deliverables, but maybe the clients have like more requests. Let's say I have more marketing materials or even package design I want to add on. Then I'm going to put that as like add-ons and add into the whole package. Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that thinking. And hopefully that's
Mm-hmm.
helpful to other people who are struggling to bring out pricing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's see some other questions. This is an interesting one. So this is from Mitri. I started with hashtag 100 days of design yesterday just to
Yeah.
keep me motivated and be consistent on social media. Do you think it'll help me engage with my audience?
Yes, totally. I love this challenge. I've loved seeing designers doing this, 100 days of design. This is so great to like start even building a portfolio, I would say. Always put like one project and then put all the design that you did during this like challenge. That would be a great thing to do. And also definitely it's going to be engaging your audience because they're going to see you grow, and then you can also share a little bit behind the scene like, hey, like this is day 35 and after doing like 35 designs, like this is what I think, and I want to share a little bit more about the behind the scene. So yeah, I would say it's very, very engaging and very exciting, like for someone to see, like to be part of this journey. Hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like even if it's just motivation to start posting, it'll
Yes.
get you in your groove, right? Because I think Barbiana, you completely agree with me. I've done TikTok as well, and the first few weeks, it's not easy. Like no one is a natural at that. You got to get comfortable in front of the camera. And so I think something like
Yes.
100 days of design, it just forces you to like get in a rhythm. And then when you just start posting consistently, it'll be
Mhm.
so much easier than it was at the beginning.
Yes, for sure.
How was your experience when you first started your TikTok and Instagram and being on camera?
Oh, I'm still very camera shy, I would say, but getting better because I kind of force myself to do it. And I would say I'm like pretty thankful for like that time being that I push myself to be on social media because that really helps me to connect with others and even like sharing my design journey to motivate other people's like I'm just like very happy to have like a sort of connection with people like I have right now on social media. Yeah. And I would say it's never going to be perfect. It's fine. It's fine. The practice makes like a better. We're looking for better, but not like perfect. So just keep posting. If you feel like you just a little burnout, that's fine. Take a little break, but remember that there's always like other people online to cheer you up. Mhm.
Love that. Yeah, I feel like there's such a supportive community.
Yes.
Um, all right. Nicole is asking, is it easy to receive payments? I'm assuming this
Mhm.
is related to Contra because you talked about commission-free payments. But Nicole, if I'm incorrect, just add that to the chat. But let's answer that to start.
So, personally, I use like Contra to receive payments. I think it's very easy and also did not take any commission fee from me. So that's like, I love that. So what you can do is set up your banking, like your banking information, and you can send out a proposal to your clients, invite your clients, and then just directly set up the payments. You can even put up as milestone terms for the payments. You can even do like hourly or even like recurring like payments. There's an option for that. So yeah, I would say it's very easy to receive the payments, and maybe Zoe can share a little bit more about like maybe it works differently in different country like for the payments.
Yeah, absolutely. So it does work differently in some countries. That being said, we are working so hard to make sure that payments are actually accessible globally. I think for this example, Nicole, you mentioned you're from Mexico. I'm going to share a list with everyone, which is a Notion document of all the countries that we support and that you can get paid out in. But there is pretty much a payment method for everyone. So hopefully everyone's able to try out commission free, because everyone that ends up doing it, is like mind blown to start. And then when it actually hits their bank account, they're like, wait, that's crazy to not get like 10, 15, 20% taken from them. So that can be a big difference in your, take home of projects. So I will share that in the chat, but we have so many questions popping in. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I cannot keep up, Barbiana. I'm like, which question do I pop up next? And I see they're coming through both channels. Okay. Let's put up this one from Jacqueline. What are some of the most helpful resources or recommendation you used to learn how to design? I love this.
Love this one. So, I mentioned that I watch a lot of just online videos to learn the design basics. So you can always find like YouTube videos, or even like for Adobe, they have tutorial page for you to learn like how to use Illustrator, use Photoshop, and most importantly, I started being on social media and connect with other like designers in my industry. That's very important to me, because that's how I can like ask for feedback. I can like just kind of share like my struggles with them, and they're always very very helpful and then very supporting to me. Like that's why I love this community a lot, because you can get to like maybe slide into their DMs asking them like, hey, like I just need a little help with this, can you share like maybe a website or resources that I can improve on like design. So yeah, that's what I would recommend, to connect with more like industry experts, and always look out for like any sort of like free events that you can to join, again like connecting with other people, and also like just look out for anything that's like maybe trending at the moment, or anything that you can learn as a designer. Yeah.
That is great advice. I love that. Let's see what else. Okay, this is a good one. How do you figure out which design niche to get into?
Ooh, okay. So that's definitely a tough one when I first started, because I just realized that design is not just design. There's like a lot of different categories of design. You can be a web designer, you can be a product designer, UX UI designer, illustrator. So essentially, you don't have to explore everything. You can just kind of like take a look at other like designers. Let's say I follow like an illustrator designer, and just to see like her process and everything, and maybe try out a little by yourself. You don't have to really like douse the whole self into it, but kind of try it out. And if this is not what you're looking for, then it's fine. You can just focus on what you want to be, like what you are envision yourself to be. Like I want to be a brand designer, so I focus most of my time learning how to create logos, to set up like a branding guide to my clients. So yeah, you probably want to kind of connect with others again, and then see what are you looking for yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the niches are always a challenge, especially when you're getting started. And I feel like trying out a few things and then figuring out what you like best is always the best way. Because we were chatting before this, Barbiana, and you were telling me how, you used to have a 9 to 5. You love the flexibility of
Yeah.
being a freelancer, and you love that you get to do what you actually like to do. And so figuring that out and then making that your niche, I feel like is the best way at it.
Yes, and even like I know this might takes a long time for you to figuring out like the certain niche that you want to be in, but don't forget that you always have your community to help you out. If you can't do a certain task, you can always like partnering or even collaborating with other designers. Doesn't mean that you have to do everything yourself. So let's say that I love creating website, but I'm not so much of a brand designer, then you can always find another brand designer to work with you. So yeah, trying to find out like the things that you enjoy the most being a designer. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Love that. We have a question from Phoebe. How do we charge or create an invoice for a freelance project? Confused in where to start and is wondering if Contra has any support for freelancing.
Yeah, so that's one thing I love on Contra is that I can send out proposal and also a one-time invoice. So maybe Zoe can share a little bit more about like how the invoice works on Contra.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of our free features. So you don't even need to be subscribed to Contra Pro. You can actually access invoicing because we know that that's a big pain point for freelancers. Like you want your invoices to look professional. You want it to lead to a place where the client can actually pay you. It's so hard to then ask for like, please input your wire details or please send this from your bank. Those are all friction points that make it more challenging for a client. And really as a freelancer, you just want to get paid for the work that you've done. So we have the ability for an independent to actually initiate the invoice and send it off. It looks really clean, professional. And then the client can just pay it from there. It's super easy for them to make an account. And I really feel like this allows people to take their like independent business to the next level because you just look like you really have all your business in place. And like Barbiana mentioned, it's so nice to have things consolidated, right? At the end of the
Yes.
year, when you're doing taxes, to have all your invoices, all your payments on one platform and just be able to look at that is way easier than I'm sure what we've all done before, which is like sending invoices over email, letting the client send the invoice. Like I totally know that whole pain point of tracking those down. So yes, Contra allows you to send, receive invoices, and that is a free feature. So I'd love to hear, Phoebe, if you end up using that, and I'd love to see what your feedback is. Let's see. Okay, we have a few people asking about Discord groups or like Slack communities. So I know for Contra, we actually have a Contra community. Anyone is welcome to actually apply to join it. It is an awesome place to get a ton of resources. But Barbiana, I think people also are curious to ask you if you have any sort of community that they can join.
Yes, so I learned this during Adobe Live that they actually have like Discord group for Photoshop and even Illustrator. So you can look out on like their official website and then try to join the Discord groups and connect with other designers. And then they even hold like challenges on there or even like seasonal events. So definitely look out for that. Hmm.
That's awesome. And obviously, people can follow your Instagram, TikTok, which is, I feel like, where you've kind of built your communities, which is so fun that it's that easy to create communities now. You can create it on TikTok, Instagram.
Yes, for real. Like, I love like connecting people on social media, and a lot of times that I help answering a lot of questions through my DMs, and yeah, that's just really great to have like people around you because freelance sometimes can be a little lonely, so having a connection online it's helpful.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
And we even see freelancers connecting on Contra and people actually partnering on projects. I think you mentioned this earlier, but if a client wants you to do something that maybe isn't in your expertise, you can actually outsource it to another freelancer. And we're seeing a lot of that happen through our community, through our Discover feed. And it's so fun to see like how excited freelancers are to connect, partner. I know you did a project with Hannah, who's awesome and has a
Yeah.
great Contra portfolio as well. So
Mhm.
I love to see those connections happening in real life.
Yeah, like I love like finding other creatives on like Contra Discovery page. You can always look for like freelancers in your industry or not. Like I'm not a good like I don't really do copywriting, so I definitely need a copywriter, and I love to get on like Discovery page to find out those like really great copywriters and just connect with them. So maybe I have a future work like opportunities I can refer to them.
That is awesome. I also linked here the countries that Contra supports payments in. So we partner with Stripe. They're a awesome, super trusted payment platform. And so if you want to check out that link for the country that you want to see if there's payments supported, feel free to use that link. And then I'm going to pull up another question because I feel like there's just so many here. Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. So this is from Christy. I work in a company full time plus time freelance design role, and I usually have no time to work on my personal projects. Do I share my work projects on my portfolio even though they aren't my best work? I design what the company wants.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good one. Like, I love to hear like your thoughts, Zoe, and maybe I can share mine too on
Yeah.
this.
For sure. So I think this is always a tricky one because you need to make sure that obviously your company is comfortable with you sharing that work. So my first suggestion would be to just reach out to your, maybe leadership team or whoever kind of gives approval on that and ask if they're okay with you sharing that work externally on a portfolio. Um,
Mhm.
but otherwise, I think at the end of the day, you really do want to try to showcase the work that you want in the future. Otherwise, you'll end up getting hired for something where you go, oh, darn, like that's really not what I want to be working on. And the project should be exciting. That being said,
Mhm.
and Barbiana, I'm curious of your opinion on this. I think you can take aspects of projects and kind of make those the things that you showcase. You don't need to show every single thing, right? If you designed a logo that maybe you're not 100% bought in on, maybe you don't show the logo, but maybe you show the wireframes or the different thinking that you had while actually like putting the project together. And
Mhm.
you can kind of shape how you show the project that you've done in a way that maybe you are proud of. What do you think,
Yeah,
Barbiana?
totally agree with Zoe. Like, essentially, you probably want to curate the process that you want to be seeing us and work for in the future. So definitely get a validation from your the company and then ask if you can share work. Just show the parts that you worked on and maybe add a few things at the end, like how you would maybe do it differently or even show like a tiny little redone or anything that you will do, that could be helpful as well. If you just feel like, oh, I'm not comfortable with sharing all the everything about this project. Yeah. hmm
Awesome. That's great feedback. Let's do one last question. This one's from Kayla. And also, I want to say I appreciate everyone how engaged they are in the chat. And I'm sorry that we
Yeah.
can't get to every single question. It's so fun to see it blowing up. But Kayla asks, how do you go about finding your first clients and any tips for writing a proposal?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting question. I remember I found my first client online. So if you follow me long enough, at first my social account it's about sharing social media tips because that's my background. I have a background in digital marketing, so that's how I started while I'm learning how to design. And the first client actually found me through Instagram, loved like my tips online, and wanted me to help with Instagram. And I also helped with like a redesigning the page, and that's how she figured out like, hey, I love your design. Maybe you can do more design work for me, and that clicks. Like I'm like, okay, maybe I should shift more to the design part because I also enjoy a lot designing. So yeah, that's how I find my first client. And the tips for writing proposals would be clear enough with your proposal. So writing like everything about your deliverables, how to work with you, and like putting up the timeline. That's also very important. That's something I learned actually. I have like a few past like projects before that I did not plan out the timeline, and it was a disaster. I'm sure like a lot of people have the same like in the same situation before. So right now, every time I'm writing out the proposal, I'll be clear with like the timeline as well, and also adding like a little text at the bottom, telling people that okay, so this is like the perfect timeline for us, but it might like extend depending on the revisions. So that's also a little tips that you can do, letting them know that hey, you can give me like a week buffer time just to see like if it goes like a little different ways, then yeah, like we might need a little more time. But yeah, like be make sure to be clear with your proposal, having all the information they need on there. So when they look at the proposal, they can instantly book with you.
Love that. And Barbiana, have you used the proposal feature on Contra yet?
Yes, I I really love the milestone like payments option because that really helps me to set up like, hey, I have like a lot of full scale like projects going on. So I love to separate like milestones to make sure that I get paid on time and I don't like wait until like the end of the project to get the payment. Yeah, and I also love that we can set up the booking fee like a first payment so you can get some sort of like secure like when you someone book with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love that we kind of encourage people to do like 20, 50% upfront, and it's just so easy to
Hmm.
just set it up that way, which is really nice. And yeah, we have like milestone, flat fee, a bunch of different payment
Hmm.
versions. But I agree, when you're doing long-term projects, way easier to
Yeah.
just set it up at the start than like
Hmm.
have to follow up with clients all the time. So excited to hear that you've used that.
Hmm.
Um, well, I know that we've mentioned this quite a few times throughout the conversation, but Barbiana is obviously giving everyone in this group here the ability to skip the wait list for Contra Pro. So right now we have like thousands of people on a wait list to join. And I saw in the chat that some of you mentioned you're on the wait list waiting to join.
Yeah.
So actually using this link will allow you to skip the wait list and you'll be able to subscribe
Hmm.
today. And also what's really cool is for $1 for the first month. So you're literally paying $1 to have access to portfolios. You can customize them. You can add your logo, custom domain. There's just so much that you can do, but it's honestly so easy. Like if I can do it, anyone else in the world can do it. But this offer will expire in 3 days. So we would love for people to take advantage of this and use Barbiana's link. And then, like I mentioned, the first 5 people who actually subscribe on this call will also get one-to-one profile feedback from the one and only Barbiana, which is very nice. And I'm not sure how often you do that. So I feel like this is a very exclusive offering that I am excited for people to take advantage of.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anything else to add there?
Just like love how easy to like customize it and save a lot of time, honestly, because I want to focus on designing, so I don't want to have to worry about that. So yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
love
definitely.
that. And updating is just like, so for me is like the biggest pain point is obviously you're working on new projects, but updating is like such a headache. And I love
Hmm.
that anything you update just updates on your portfolio automatically. So I agree. I don't want to be spending time on my portfolio. That's why I want something that just works for me.
Hmm. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I will just quickly also go through, I think we mentioned some of the free features of Contra, which are also really awesome. And Barbiana uses a lot of these. So as you can see
Hmm.
here, we have like what's always free and what's Contra Pro. So always free, you'll be able to get paid commission free, which is obviously a huge one. Use our invoicing tools. You can find job opportunities on our Discover feed, and you can message back and forth. So if once you meet a client, you can reach out to them or they can reach out to you. You kick off a project and it all happens in one place. And then recommendations, which give that social validation. You know, Barbiana and I complete a project together, each write a
Hmm.
recommendation about one another so that you're really seeing proof of how people worked together. So these are just some of the many things, and there's lots of exciting stuff coming out for Contra Pro. So I can't wait for everyone to subscribe, be part of that, and have first access to those features when they do launch. Cool. Well, this has been so fun. And I know a bunch of people are connecting with their LinkedIns and Instagrams. And
Yeah.
that was just so great to see. Clearly, you've built an awesome community, Barbiana, all these people showing up for you today. Like I mentioned, if you subscribe on the call, you'll get that one-to-one feedback, but we'll also be following up with an email. And we're excited to see, you know, people using a really nice portfolio that is customized. In the meantime, Barbiana, do you have anything else you want to share or anything you want to ask the audience?
Um, I think there's a lot of questions I would love to answer, but we don't have time. So if you like, you can always DM me on my Instagram, and I would love to share like my insights, my thoughts with you. Hmm.
Yeah, you're great at answering on social, so I feel like that is an easy way to get in contact with you. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone joining today. It was such a global group and so much engagement in the chat, which is so fun to see. And thank you so much, Barbiana, for joining us today. This was a huge success, and we'll see you all on the internet.
Thank you guys so much.